Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we'll be working on the Moomin House, stage 34. And so, lost my train of thought. So let's go ahead and get the book open and we'll press on. And I also was looking at the pieces in here and the magazine, and I realized as I was doing this that because I looked at the wall that I just built, and I'm like, or I built in the last couple of stages, and I'm like, you know what's missing from here that I did on the walls below? There's no wires. And I've got it sealed up, so I can't put any wires through, which is a bad thing on the one hand, because I now can't do the wiring the way I was going to do in the first place. But it also simplifies the wiring a whole bunch, because I'm not going to be trying to fit wires through walls anymore. It's a neat idea. You know, it's how they really run. But considering I didn't put them through here, and they won't fit through here because this is a solid piece, I have to rethink it. And it's actually not going to be too bad. I did go through and make sure all these wires were good. I'm going to end up cutting them out, because it's also going to help a lot if I have a single spot where they're coming through the bottom instead of through 4 different spots. Plus one of these spots is actually there's a tab there that's going to go into that. So I don't have to do the wiring as I go so much as do what I've done on other kits and install basically white conduit. I'll figure out where, and that makes it a whole lot easier because I don't think these floors get glued together until the end, until we're starting to put walls on. And it makes it better also because then it's going to either be there or there in the corner, or perhaps behind the stairs for the first floor. Not sure. But as I go forward, I no longer have to fight to get the wires in. I can just do a stock build and add the wiring later on. Maybe a little bit more difficult. I'm not sure. It'll also, like one of the guys over at HTM said, it should allow me to light the chandelier a little bit better, because then I can just throw the light in where I need it when I need it. So let's go ahead and get these parts out and start working on this stage. So get rid of that. We've got more wallpaper on this stage. Like I said, we have a solid wall. There's no way to put, I don't have a drill bit long enough, and it would snap in the middle anyway if I was trying to put wire through here. And then we have panels to make, looks like a table. Not sure. It is a table. Not sure of what it will exactly be. We've got the drawer handle there. Looks like drawer sides. This is the drawer itself. So I'm not sure what that panel is going to be. Let me set all these parts up there, and we'll get to work on this wall. So first thing it says to do, draw a line. Draw a line on the blue markings. What blue markings? Not going to use a pen anymore because that leaves a really dark line that you can see, as we saw in the last video. The interesting video, the one that I screwed up a couple of times on. What we're going to do is use a pencil. So what they're doing is they're having you, let me double check. Yeah, it does actually. We're going flush where this is going to, I believe, it should be matching up with this piece. Matter of fact, instead of using the pencil, why don't I just use the piece of wall? Almost dropped it, to draw the line all the way to the top. So set that off to the side. Feel something sticking. This piece, very minute piece of double-sided tape there. And so what we're going to do with that line is that is where we line up this wallpaper on the on that wall. Going to be using both of these sheets of wallpaper in this stage, so I can take both out, just like last time. Looks like Christmas. Not happy with the little curve here at the bottom, but we'll work past that. See, again, you take the backing paper off if it will play nice, but not all the way off. And we're going to go side to side instead of top to bottom this time. And you line up your backing paper, or you line up your wallpaper on the line here that we just drew. I'm going to line it up the top corner first. Lay it down to the bottom corner. Basically, as much as possible on that line and not overlapping into the slots. I just heard Ian start with his Beavis impression, talking about slots. It looks like it might be a little bit, it is a little bit low. It's not going to matter in the long run, as long as it's on here as straight as possible. And here's what I'm talking about. And it isn't on here completely straight. You can see it overlaps down there a little bit. Up here on the top, you can see it drops down about a millimeter and a half. Be able to work around that. Down here, if that gets in the way, I'll just take the X-Acto and cut that off. We take this, we wrap the edge of the paper around the corner here. Hopefully it'll stick down better than it did on the last piece. If not, and it's popping up as I'm doing it from the face of the wall. But once that's down relatively well, lay it on its face, take your X-Acto and carefully cut out the hole. Whoops. Not the wood, the wallpaper. That shouldn't matter. There should be a door that goes in there. I cut a slight sliver off of the wall. And then, unlike last time, making sure I have the wax paper side, I'll save that in case I need it for later. And it's still popping up over here. I will get it locked down. Probably have to use some glue on it or something. Let's see, does it say to? It doesn't show it yet. So I'm not going to mess with it, but you can see there it might have to be cut out of that slot. Now on this other side, do the same thing, draw another line here. Lay that on here. I think this, like I said before, I think this is a better way to do it. Use the piece that's going to actually fit in there to draw the line. And then this pattern runs and down. Not a pattern I would have in my house. This time I'm going to peel it from this side. Just looking to see the pattern should be this way. I'm about to peel it the wrong way. Again, let me lay this over, fold it, not put a crease in there. I don't know if you can see it. A couple of spots where it almost creased. Again, well, this time I'm going to start at the top. Have it facing towards me. Start here, lay it across. Should be good. Pull this across while we lay the paper down. And I ended up with the same gap on this side. Not as bad, but not perfect. Close enough. You're never going to see that gap. Just like you'll never see this gap up there. And take this, do the exact same thing as before. Fold it, and this time it's going to be holding onto the other piece of paper, so it should hold, I believe. There's that magic word of should. And it is holding a little bit better. And there's going to be a little bit of lip down there that has to be cut off on both sides. Let me go ahead and take my X-Acto, cut the wallpaper out of the door. And honestly, that's much easier than real wallpaper, because real wallpaper, you have to wallpaper around the opening for the door. I've done real wallpaper. It can be tricky. And so there's the wall, and it does say to cut out in that slot there. Probably would have been better to do it before the second piece of paper was on. So cut that side. You know what? I may regret this later on. I may have to take it out. But instead of fighting to cut where I can't see, I'm just going to push these two pieces down together. And instead of having to cut it out, I just covered the hole. But the gap, the hole in the wall is the way it's supposed to be. So let me see. That is all, I believe, that has to be done. That is all that gets done with this wall at this point. Interested to see how this is going to tie together, because it doesn't tie into this wall. I think this wall will actually, yeah. This wall is going to come in here like this. Except for not on this side, it should be coming in here like this. And then there's going to be, this piece will pop in here, and then another wall off this side. So let me go ahead and set that off to the side, and let me make sure I can get this slot back out, or that tab back out of the slot. And let's go to work on this little table. So we got the tabletop, we got the shelf, and we got the table base here. Tabletop, shelf, and the base. So we cut X-Acto is better for this. Cut where the laser cutting did not burn through. Sometimes you have to do it from both sides. And I apologize if you can hear the dogs that are barking outside. I have no control over my neighbor's dogs. They bark all day, all night. Well, not all night. But the problem is they're outside all the time, so they bark a lot. And let me grab a sanding stick. I would use this one, but I used it to sand the putty off the other wall. I tend to use sanding sticks until they collapse, basically. Probably don't need to do this. We're probably going to point paint over it, but I just prefer not to have my little tabs there. So we got these pieces, and then we do the exact same thing here. We separate these pieces and these pieces. Go ahead and do the drawer front and back first. That should be quick and easy, and it was. I'm just curious, before I have paused the video while I cut pieces out and sand them and everything, just curious if people appreciate this better or the other way better. Because Todd over at HTM has said in conversations we've had on Discord that it's better to just show the full progress and flap my gums about tell a story about when I was 15 or whatever. 15 was a long time ago. So I would prefer to just talk about the model as we go. Okay, so once we get these done, we take these sides. Okay, so let me see. We're going to put these together, basically forming the drawer slot. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it because it is a pretty tight fit. So you fix the sides of the table to the base. Or you fix the back and then the sides. Go ahead and put glue on all of it. So what you'll do is you'll take this first piece here, the back, you'll slot it in here like this. Getting it flush on the bottom, just like that. Then you'll do the same thing with the sides. And these tabs are very tight in these slots. I heard Beavis again, Ian. Not even sure if Ian watches all the way through these videos or just skips through them. Either way. This one as well. Making a little box like that. Then what you'll do with this little box is you'll lay it on here. It's going to go on here like this. So you can see that the corners that are still cut out are where the legs are going to go. So let me go ahead and throw some glue on here. Line this up. making sure that I keep the slots open for the legs. So it's going to look very much like that. Turn over to the next page. Let's see, lay the legs, draw a line about 7 millimeters from the bottom edge. This is needed to mark where the mounting of the shelf goes. Okay. So what it's talking about is, and I'm going to lay them all next to each other. So you line it up. Interesting. About 7, oh, I'm dopey me. I'm looking at a millimeter, not 7 millimeters, or a centimeter, not 7 millimeters. So you draw a line right about there. So that's what you're looking for. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay the first one next to the others, line them up against, if I can, against the ruler, because I want them to be pretty much even. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to do them one at a time. Do it about like that. Do the next one. Basically what I'm shooting for is a relatively straight line. And that's just going to be the rough positioning. I will adjust the shelf as needed. So let me go ahead and put those down. And then you glue the legs in. Where's my line? I want the line to be towards the interior so you can't really see it. And it even says surface with a line faces inward. So let me go ahead and get glue in all 4 of the spots. I can get the leg in there then. Being very careful not to knock the legs off as I add new ones. Make sure that one's on there good. Take this one, face the line towards the other line. This line is going to face towards the back. And then that one like that. Okay, so now we take the rear panel and glue it, of the rear panel of the drawer, and we glue the drawer together. Rear panel, there's some scuffing on the back here. I'm going to put the rear panel over top that scuffing. Make sure I got some on the sides here. Just slot it in there. There's that word again. So that it looks like that. And then the drawer front is actually going to go on the front. It's not going to fit down inside the drawer. Go ahead and put it over top there, and it's going to pretty much go edge to edge. that. Let me go ahead and get this knob out. Oh, actually it says to paint it first and then glue the knob on. So I'm going to pause for a few minutes, let this glue set up some, figure out what I'm going to use to paint this, and I will be right back. Okay, so here I am, an idiot again, on the next video after the last one that I screwed up. So using OBS, if I type on the keyboard at all, I tend to use the control keys a lot, and what it does is it switches the camera to the other screen, especially on studio mode, which is what I did. So I have a few minutes of blank space at the end of the video that I just cut in from. So I got to fix that. But I used the Americana gel stain walnut on the table. Did that actually all on not tape. And I just dropped the drawer. But I think this actually came out really nicely once it was stained. I did say that that looks perfect for a telephone on it right now, but, well, and I'm old school because the telephone would have been from the 90s. But that's done. That's the end of this stage. That's all there is to do. Hope you're enjoying this content. If you are, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of whenever I post new content. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook, YouTube, and Discord. Links will be in the description. See what we're doing over there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you on the next video.